The morning after Clint Eastwood's unexpected visit, the news of Sophie's lemonade stand spread throughout the neighborhood. Word of mouth had a ripple effect. People began coming by, not just for lemonade, but to show their support. Local families and strangers alike stopped by, offering donations and words of encouragement. Some even shared their own stories of battling illness, reinforcing the sense of community that had started to build around Sophie's cause. Sophie's lemonade stand quickly became the focal point of the neighborhood. What had begun as a small act of desperation had turned into a symbol of hope for others facing similar struggles. The media soon caught wind of the story. News vans arrived, reporters eager to capture Sophie's journey. The once quiet street was now filled with cameras, reporters, and well-wishers, all eager to learn about the girl who had dared to dream of fighting cancer with nothing but lemonade. Clint Eastwood's appearance had been the catalyst, but Sophie's unwavering determination and the generosity of her community made all the difference. By the end of the week, Sophie had raised more than she had ever imagined. The local coffee shop donated a portion of its earnings for the week. A group of high school students volunteered to run additional stands selling lemonade across town. Parents offered to help in any way they could, whether by donating money, spreading the word, or volunteering their time. Each day, Sophie's stand became more than just a way to raise money for her treatment. It was a gathering place, a symbol of strength, and a reminder that kindness could go a long way in the fight against cancer. One afternoon, just as Sophie was preparing another batch of lemonade, she noticed Clint walking up the street again, his familiar smile in place. He didn't seem like someone who needed to be followed by paparazzi or surrounded by crowds. Clint had a way of blending in, of showing up at the right time, and this moment was no exception. He waved as he approached, and Sophie's heart skipped a beat. "I couldn't stay away," Clint said with a grin, handing her a donation check. "This has turned into something amazing. I think it's time we took it to the next level." Sophie looked down at the check, not sure whether to believe her eyes. The amount was more than enough to cover her treatment, but Clint wasn't done. "I've been talking to some people," he continued. "We're going to help other kids like you. A bigger fundraiser, one that will reach more people. I'll make sure the media gets involved and maybe even get some of my friends in Hollywood to lend a hand." Sophie was speechless. She had never imagined anything like this happening. It felt like a dream, one that was beginning to come true. As the days passed, the event that Clint had promised began to take shape. They secured a venue at the local park, a large open space where food trucks, games, and local vendors would come together for the cause. Flyers were distributed, and social media was flooded with posts about Sophie's journey and the upcoming fundraiser. By the day of the event, the park was bustling with activity. The turnout exceeded everyone's expectations. There were games. For kids, a raffle, a live band, and even a dunk tank where local celebrities volunteered to take a dip for donations. Every corner of the park was filled with people, families, and businesses all coming together to support Sophie and others, fighting similar battles. Clint Eastwood made a special appearance, offering a heartfelt speech that moved the crowd to tears. He spoke about Sophie's courage, her strength, and how one person's determination could bring an entire community together. The event raised more money than anyone had imagined. The fundraiser wasn't just about Sophie anymore. It had become a movement, one that would continue to grow as more people were inspired by her story. Sophie felt a renewed sense of purpose. She had not only helped herself, but she had also helped others. In the weeks that followed, Sophie's treatment continued with the financial support she had needed. But what truly stood out was the impact her lemonade stand had on the community. It wasn't just about raising money, it was about raising hope. The bonds that had formed between neighbors, strangers, and even celebrities like Clint Eastwood were proof that when people came together, they could make a real difference. Clint stayed in touch with Sophie, making regular visits to check on her progress. He became more than just a celebrity supporter, he became a friend. And though Sophie still had a long road ahead, she no longer faced it alone. As she finished her last round of chemotherapy, Sophie rang the bell at the hospital, a tradition for patients who have completed their treatment. It was a symbolic moment, one of victory not just for Sophie, but for everyone who had supported her along the way. She knew she had a lot to be thankful for, and as the years went on, Sophie's lemonade stand grew into an annual event, one that brought the community together each year to celebrate life, love, and the power of never giving up. The years passed, and Sophie's story became more than just a local legend. It was shared across social media, in local newspapers, and even in larger news outlets. People who had once been strangers to Sophie now felt connected to her. Her courage had transcended her small town and inspired individuals everywhere. Every year, the community came together to hold a larger event in honor of Sophie's ongoing fight. What had started as a humble lemonade stand transformed into a massive annual fundraising festival known as Lemonade for Hope. It featured live music, local businesses, guest speakers, and even a special section for cancer survivors to share their own stories of survival and hope. Sophie's family, once burdened by medical bills and uncertainty, was now filled with gratitude. Dan and Rachel had become pillars of support, helping coordinate the festival alongside their daughter. The community had rallied not just for Sophie, but for others who needed help as well. Sophie, who had always been the face of the lemonade stand, now found herself speaking at events, sharing her story with others in an effort to raise awareness for childhood cancer. Her resilience had made her a symbol of strength and survival, but she remained humble, always remembering that the people who had surrounded her with love were the true heroes. One of the most powerful moments came during one of the festivals, when a little girl, no older than Sophie had been when she first started her lemonade stand, approached her booth. She was holding a small jar, filled with coins. The girl looked up at Sophie, her eyes wide with admiration. "I wanted to give this to you," she said softly, "so you can help other kids like me." Sophie bent down to meet her eye level, her heart swelling with emotion. "You're very brave for doing that," Sophie said, her voice breaking slightly. "You're helping in a way that's going to make a huge difference." Sophie's mother, Rachel, who was nearby, watched the exchange with a tear in her eye. It was a moment she had never thought possible when they first started the lemonade stand. It was a reminder of how far they had come and just how much one small act of kindness could blossom into something much larger. That year, the festival raised more than double the amount it had the year before, continuing the momentum and helping fund not just Sophie's treatment, but dozens of other children's treatments as well. But it wasn't just the money that mattered. It was the message that no one had to fight cancer alone. There was an entire community, an entire world standing with them. Clint Eastwood remained a steadfast supporter of Sophie's cause, attending the event each year. His initial involvement had been a game changer, but over time it became clear that his connection with Sophie was genuine. He wasn't just a celebrity showing up for a photo op. He was a mentor, a friend, and a voice of encouragement. One year, during a quiet moment at the festival, Clint pulled Sophie aside. The event was winding down, and the sun was setting, casting a soft glow over the park. "I've been thinking about something," Clint said, his voice serious. "This is all incredible, but I think it's time to do more. You've built something special here, Sophie. Something that could change the lives of children everywhere. I want to help you take this nationwide." Sophie's eyes widened. The thought of expanding beyond their small town was overwhelming, but Clint had always believed in her. And now, she realized, maybe it was time to believe in herself, too. "You want to take it nationwide?" Sophie asked, her voice shaky but filled with wonder. "Absolutely," Clint replied. "You've got the passion. You've got the heart. Now let's give this movement the chance to grow, and let's do it together." And that's exactly what they did. With Clint's help, Sophie's Lemonade for Hope went national. They partnered with children's hospitals, organized fundraising events across the country, and used social media to spread awareness. The festival that had once been a small community gathering in their town grew into a nationwide initiative, with thousands of people participating and donating in cities across the United States. Sophie, now a teenager, stood before crowds in various cities, telling her story and raising funds for childhood cancer research. What had started as a simple lemonade stand was now a movement, a testament to the power of one person's determination and the unwavering support of those who believed in her. Through all of this, Sophie never lost sight of what was important. She was still the same girl who had set up a lemonade stand on a hot summer day, hoping to raise enough money for her chemotherapy. But now, she was part of something bigger. She had not only conquered her own battle, but had become a symbol of hope for others. As the years went by, Sophie's health continued to improve. She celebrated her victory over cancer with each passing milestone, but she knew the fight wasn't over. There were still countless children who needed help, and she was determined to continue her mission. One day, as Sophie looked back on everything she had accomplished, she realized that the journey she had taken wasn't just about surviving cancer. It was about building something that would outlast her battle. It was about creating a legacy of hope, kindness, and the belief that no matter how small the gesture, it could change the world. And as long as there were children who needed help, Sophie would be there, sharing lemonade and offering hope, just as she had done all those years ago.